Yeah, I am. I'm a painting contractor here in Santa Barbara.
Okay. Just want to see if we can get this Santa Barbara Real Estate Investor Association meeting going. I want to thank you all for being here today. We are trying a little bit different area in here. Not quite sure if this is going to work out, but we're going to videotape it, see if we can get it up on YouTube. I've asked them to lower the music so it's not so loud. If it works, we'll meet here again. If it doesn't, we're back off to the pizza parlor or Denny's or wherever else we can go. Still pretty loud on the music. Okay, Justin, is it possible that I can get you to maybe go ask them again to turn the music down?
Yeah.
You demand. Thank you. Appreciate that. So we've got a few, I don't know if we've got anybody new here. We've probably talked in the past a little bit about benefits. If you want any of the benefits of the Santa Barbara Real Estate Investor Association, you can get that off the website. I think I just gave Mark Davis his Sherwin-Williams card here for paint discounts, and Kimberly has already got hers, so she's good to go. So do take a look at the website. Get back to me if you want some information on that, on the benefits. We have got John, and I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this right. Borzellino? John Borzellino? Borzellino. Borzellino. John Borzellino is here to speak with us today. Thank you very much for showing up. John has been up, he's been down, he's got a lot of good information to give us on Lease Purchase. He's got a controversial Lease Purchase America book on his website. He did say he's had some people from the past that have been difficult for some of the things that he's been in. He'll explain that to us. I know I've searched the internet, and he did mention to me that I might even get some phone calls from some people that had some issues. You're right, I did, but I'm sure you'll be able to explain that as well. I think that he's going to have great information on Lease Purchase, so I'd like you guys to give him a little hands on for showing and speaking to us. I can turn it off. Sure.
Okay, how you guys doing today? Good. What I'm going to do is just try to give you basically the things that have worked for me. I've been very fortunate to have some mentors that have been able to teach me some things. My father-in-law made $6 million a year, and I worked with him for about 3 years. I was fortunate to work with a gentleman who was Jerry Reinsdorf's partner, the owner of the Chicago Bulls and the White Sox. I worked with him for about 10 years. They started, if you ever heard of the company called Balcor. Balcor is a company that started with $72,000 in 11 years, sold to American Express for $103 million cash. They bought apartment buildings, shopping centers, office buildings all over the country. So the things that these gentlemen taught, I wrote down in 2 books. And those are on the website for this group. You can get the Changes Power book, you can get the autobiography, you can get Peak Walkers, and you can get Lease Purchase America. You get those all free. So you can just go on the website, Joey Grace, it's my dad and my mom's first names, together, joeygrace.com. And if you want, there's some cards up here that'll help you remember the name. And they're available. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is give you some basics, and then if you'd like, what we can do is we can go through examples, situations where the logic of these gentlemen coming together might work for you. What your situation?
20?
I got
20s.
20s? Yeah, well, you give me 50s, I'll give you 20. I'll get some more as soon as I take a break. This one. So, I have absolutely nothing to sell here. The books are free for you. Dan invited me to come up and speak. It's something that we're doing as like a benefit for his members. So all you have to do is go to the books on the website. They're all downloadable. Okay. So I'm going to give you some highlights and some basics. Now, there's a lot of people that have said that they have heard of lease option, rent option, lease purchase before, and you might be using some type of technique in the things that you're doing.
Yeah, speak up a little bit louder. They're having a hard time because there's a lot of noise in the background.
All right. So I'm louder. Okay, I never heard that before. What I'm going to do is give you the highlights of the material. And a lot of times what people do is they start to try to think of ways that something won't work. What I think you should do is simply see where the logic might work with some of the things that you're doing. You don't necessarily have to quit what you're doing and go and become a lease purchase consultant, or lease purchase takes over what you're doing. It isn't the answer to everything that you're doing. What I've learned from my mentors is to take the things that they've learned, that they've taught to me, and then try to apply it in whatever I'm working on. I have a television show that I produced about 10 years ago, which I'm redoing. It's a multicultural show, and one of the things that we're doing is we're taking the top 7 religions from the planet and kind of putting all the different books that they believe in on the table. And if you take the top 20% from each of those religions out, the doctrinal part, you know, who's Muhammad, who's Jesus, how did Mary get pregnant, that kind of stuff, right? Put it on a shelf, and you take the bottom 80%, the bottom 80% resonates the same. It's all philosophical, perspective, love your neighbor, you know, it's all stuff that we could all agree on. So what I recommend, while we have this opportunity, is to see where we might agree on with our logic instead of how we're separate. We're here and we might as well capitalize on the opportunity. So one of the first things that I like to do for people is to give you a recommendation that I feel, if you use it, can save you or make you a significant amount of money in your life. And that is, if you're not already an agent or you're not already a broker and you buy real estate, what I do is I teach people how to legally collect real estate commissions without a license. As soon as somebody hears that, the first thing they do is they think that there's no way to do that. Well, there is a way to do that. And the first thing I want you to do, though, if you're not a realtor or you're not a broker, is to just think conceptually what the value of that is to you over your lifetime. If you buy 1 property a year or 2 properties a year, and you have to give away the sale commission to somebody, especially if you do all the work, if you add up that sale commission and you multiply it out over the transactions that you will be doing over your life, and if you could capture those real estate commissions, that can amount to a very substantial amount of money, especially if you do it for yourself and or if you do it for other people as a consultant. And all you simply have to do is run an ad in the newspaper, and it simply would say something like this, which I've done in several states. It would say, broker needed for private investment company. And especially today, you're going to find a significant number of people that have real estate brokerage licenses, and they're not doing anything with it. They got a full-time job, and they're not that active in the business. Well, simply what you would do is, what's your name? Let's say Andrew responded to that ad. I'd simply say, hey Andrew, I'm a private investor, I buy property. I maybe do 1 or 2 or 3 or however many deals it is a year. And what I'd like to do is to set up a brokerage company, have you be the broker of record for me, and when I close a transaction, I'll pay you X amount of dollars per transaction, and you'll be my qualifying broker. So basically all that would happen is if I'm buying a property, I would put in the contract that I own a brokerage company. The real estate commission from the sale would go into the brokerage company, right? A piece of that, whichever we agreed on, $100, $250, $500, $1,000, a percentage, whatever it is that we would negotiate, right, would go to the broker. The balance of the commission would come out and go to the owner of the company as profit. You don't have to have a license in order to collect that real estate commission. Okay? Does everybody see that? Anybody have a question on that? Okay, it sounds, yes.
Does the broker hold the liability?
Okay, a lot of times people will start talking about liability. When you say liability, which liability are you speaking of?
I'm not a broker, but
By
virtue.
Well, if you have an E&O issue, you simply get E&O insurance for your transactions. Then your E&O insurance is responsible for the liability. And the liability is you. So if you're the owner, it's not like you've hired 20 agents out there throwing out, zero down offers, with annualized payments where you can skip a payment every year. You're not throwing out crazy stuff, it's just you. So how much liability is there for one person who's buying for themselves versus a big company with hundreds of agents? We're not comparing those. Okay? It's simply a legal way for you to extract real estate commissions from a transaction that you normally would be giving to somebody else. And anyone that buys property that